What if I told you that the biggest mistake gardeners make isn't pests, isn't poor soil, and isn't even bad timing? It's planting the wrong neighbors together. Every year, millions of gardens fail not because plants can't grow, but because they're left unprotected. In nature, no plant survives alone, and the moment you try to garden that way, insects move in fast. But when the right plants grow side by side, something powerful happens. Pests get confused, damage slows down, and the garden starts defending itself without a single spray. Welcome to Daily Plant Life, where we grow smarter by working with nature instead of fighting it. If you want fewer pests, healthier harvests, and a garden that protects itself naturally, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this is exactly what we do here. Today, you're about to discover 10 powerful plants that protect your garden without chemicals. Plants that release scents insects hate, strengthen the soil, and attract the right allies at the right time. Whether you're just starting out or you've been gardening for years and still battling pests, this one video can completely change how you grow. Let's begin and let your garden do the hard work for you. Let's get into it. Plant number 1 is Marigold. A plant many people grow for beauty without realizing it is one of the strongest natural defenders a garden can have. As Marigold establishes itself, its roots begin releasing natural biochemical compounds that suppress destructive soil organisms, especially nematodes that attack roots quietly and weaken crops long before any leaf damage appears. This underground action is constant and long-lasting, improving soil health over time instead of degrading it like chemicals do. Above the soil, Marigold releases a sharp scent that disrupts insect behavior, confusing pests that rely on smell to locate host plants. Marigold thrives during warm seasons when pest pressure is highest, and it loves sunlight, which fuels both its growth and its defensive strength. To plant Marigold, seeds can be sown directly into loose soil or started in containers for early establishment. They germinate quickly, often within days, and begin root activity almost immediately. Overwatering weakens them, so moderate watering is key. As the plant matures, thick foliage and strong stems form a visible boundary around vegetables. The reason Marigold produces fast results is because its defense doesn't depend on size or flowers. It begins working at the root level almost as soon as it sprouts, protecting the garden long before problems appear. Plant number 2 is Basil, a plant that protects your garden by flooding the air with scent and life. Basil grows quickly in warm conditions, pushing out soft green leaves that are packed with volatile oils insects struggle to tolerate. These oils don't kill pests. Instead, they overwhelm their senses, making it difficult for them to identify where your vegetables are located. Basil is especially valuable during peak growing months when crops like tomatoes and peppers are young and vulnerable. To plant basil, warm soil is essential because cold conditions slow oil production and weaken growth. Seeds can be started in containers or directly in the ground once temperatures stabilize. Basil likes consistent moisture but hates soggy roots, so well-draining soil is critical. As the plant grows, regular harvesting or pinching encourages branching, which multiplies both leaf production and scent output. The more basil you cut, the stronger and bushier it becomes. This constant regrowth is why basil produces fast protective results. It never stops renewing its defensive presence while also feeding you. Plant number 3 is garlic, a slow-looking plant with extremely fast chemical impact. Garlic works through sulfur compounds that seep into the soil and evaporate into the air, creating an environment pests find hostile. These compounds disrupt feeding, discourage egg-laying, and reduce fungal activity near the soil surface. Garlic prefers loose soil and steady moisture, but once planted, it demands very little attention. Individual cloves are planted pointed side up, and from that moment, protection begins building invisibly. As shoots emerge, the scent spreads outward, masking the smell of surrounding crops that insects normally target. Garlic doesn't need to be harvested to be useful. Even immature plants provide protection. The fast results come from chemistry, not size. making garlic one of the most efficient low-effort defenders you can grow. Plant number 4 is chives, a plant that proves small plants can have big influence. Chives grow quickly and form dense clusters of thin leaves that constantly release a mild onion scent pests dislike. This scent acts as a soft deterrent, especially effective against insects that attack tender leaves. Chives thrive in sun and tolerate a wide range of conditions, making them easy to place throughout the garden. Seeds germinate quickly, and divided clumps establish even faster. As chives mature, their tight growth habit creates physical and aromatic barriers that pests avoid crossing. Their flowers attract beneficial insects, strengthening the garden's internal balance. Chives produce fast results because they establish quickly and never stop growing back once harvested, meaning protection remains active throughout the season. Plant number 5 is Nasturtium, a plant that protects by sacrifice rather than force. Nasturtium grows aggressively, producing broad, soft leaves that pests prefer over tougher vegetable foliage. Instead of fighting insects, Nasturtium redirects them. Seeds are planted directly into soil, where they sprout rapidly and begin spreading across the surface. Nasturtium thrives in average soil and weakens when overfed, which actually enhances its role as a distraction plant. As it grows, it shades soil, reduces weeds, and absorbs pest pressure that would otherwise damage crops. The speed of its growth is why it produces fast results. Pests notice it almost immediately and settle there instead of on your vegetables. Plant number 6 is rosemary, a plant that doesn't rush its growth but establishes one of the strongest long-term protective presences you can have in a garden. Rosemary works mainly through its powerful aroma, which comes from essential oils stored in its thick, needle-like leaves. These oils evaporate slowly into the surrounding air, creating an invisible shield that repels insects and disrupts their breeding cycles. Pests that rely on scent to locate food find rosemary-dominated spaces confusing and uncomfortable, so they avoid settling there. Rosemary thrives best in warm seasons with plenty of sunlight, which is also when pest pressure is highest, making its timing naturally perfect. To plant rosemary, it's best to start with a young plant or cutting and place it in loose, well-drained soil, because rosemary hates sitting in wet ground. Overwatering is one of the biggest mistakes gardeners make, as it weakens the roots and reduces oil production. Once established, rosemary becomes drought-tolerant and extremely resilient. As it grows, its woody stems also influence airflow around nearby plants, reducing humidity levels that encourage fungal diseases. The reason rosemary produces fast results, even though it grows slowly, is because its leaves release scent almost immediately after planting, meaning protection begins long before the plant reaches full size. Plant number 7 is mint, a plant that protects your garden through sheer intensity and speed. Mint grows aggressively, spreading both above and below the soil, and while this makes it dangerous if left uncontrolled, it also makes it one of the fastest-working natural defenders. Mint releases a sharp, penetrating aroma that overwhelms insects' sensory systems, making it difficult for them to navigate, feed, or settle near your crops. This effect is strongest during warm weather when mint's oil production increases naturally. To plant mint safely, it's best grown in containers or confined areas so it doesn't take over the garden. Mint loves moisture and responds almost immediately to watering and sunlight, often showing visible growth within days. As the plant thickens, it creates dense foliage that traps and circulates its scent, forming a powerful barrier pests refuse to cross. Mint produces fast results because it grows quickly and releases scent continuously, offering immediate relief in areas where pest pressure suddenly appears. Plant number 8 is lavender, a plant that brings calm beauty to the garden while quietly enforcing balance. Lavender protects mainly through its aromatic oils, which repel insects like moths and flies while attracting pollinators that strengthen your garden's productivity. It thrives in full sun, good airflow, and well-drained soil, conditions that also reduce disease pressure. Lavender should be planted in soil that doesn't stay wet, because excess moisture weakens roots and reduces oil concentration. While lavender takes time to grow large, its leaves begin releasing scent early, especially during warm, sunny days. This means protection starts long before flowers appear. As lavender matures, it becomes a permanent feature that stabilizes the garden ecosystem year after year. The reason lavender produces fast results is not its growth speed, but its early aromatic activity, which begins influencing insect behavior soon after planting. Plant number 9 is calendula, a plant that protects your garden by reshaping the insect population rather than fighting it. Calendula grows quickly from seed, making it ideal for gardeners who want fast impact without complicated care. It thrives in moderate temperatures and adapts easily to different soil types, provided drainage is reasonable. Once planted, calendula germinates rapidly and begins producing soft foliage followed by bright flowers. These flowers attract beneficial insects that feed on pests and keep harmful populations under control naturally. Calendula also improves soil health over time, supporting stronger root systems in neighboring plants. Its fast results come from how quickly it sprouts and flowers, drawing helpful insects into the garden early, before pest populations explode. Plant number 10 is onion, a simple and often underestimated plant that offers steady, reliable protection throughout the growing season. Onions release sulfur-based compounds through their leaves that repel insects and interfere with pest-feeding behavior. They grow upright, which improves air circulation around nearby plants, reducing moisture buildup that encourages disease. Onions thrive in loose soil with consistent watering and plenty of sunlight. Seeds or sets establish quickly, and once the first leaves emerge, protection begins immediately. Even before bulbs start forming, onions are already influencing the garden environment. Their fast results come from early leaf growth and continuous scent release, making them effective from the earliest stages of development. When you combine these plants with the earlier ones, you're no longer reacting to garden problems, you're preventing them. Your garden becomes a living system that defends itself naturally, quietly, and consistently. If this kind of deep, practical gardening knowledge is what you enjoy, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Daily Plant Life, and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell me which of these plants you already grow and which ones you plan to add next. Until our next video, keep planting, keep learning, and keep growing naturally with Daily Plant Life.